say then they took money in bulk. Poor man picking, they the street, they hawk. Still them talk say, make we no talk. But thank God say, Maiyegun don't come. So my people make you laugh. Oh, yo, yo, Maiyegun don't come. Oh, yo, yo. My people make you shout. Oh, yo, yo, Maiyegun don't come. Oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun the command of the masses. Oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come. Oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun diary politico. Oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come. Oh, yo, yo. This man not the off in mind. Oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come. Oh, yo, yo.
We are going home. Going back. Bye, bye, bye. Janja, we are going home. Dike, long time ago. Yeah. One Nigeria, they fool me, child. I don't wake up, my mumu don't do.
Hello there.
Going home. Niger, unity beggars.
Thank you very much for joining me from wherever you're watching from. This is Maiyegun live, and then you can share this broadcast. Please let me know if you can hear me loud and clear.
Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
Maiyegun diary, Maiyegun number one.
Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
Maiyegun diary.
I'm sharing the broadcast. You should do the same.
Ọ̀rẹ́ ara yìí.
Maiyegun diary, Maiyegun number one.
Lórí Facebook, lórí YouTube.
Maiyegun diary, Maiyegun number one.
Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Maiyegun já wa sí.
Maiyegun diary, Maiyegun number one.
Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í kó níbẹ̀ o.
Maiyegun diary, Maiyegun number one.
Bó bá ṣe eré, àní Maiyegun máa wí.
Maiyegun diary, Maiyegun number one.
Ó sì tún ṣe eré.
Femi Oponu Adesina, the deputy to Garbage Shehu, both of them are called presidency in Nigeria. If you have been following the politics of Nigeria, like myself, you will know the person called Femi Oponu Adesina. He has a prayer for you for 2023. If you will make it that far, share the broadcast. Tell them. Tell them.
Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Lórí Facebook. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Lórí YouTube.
Because Nigeria president is photo absentia or absentee president. Buhari spent most of his life either locked up in a locked up room inside the asshole rock, the old people's home, Abuja, or is back in London where they are charging or recharging his battery and what have you, just for him to be able to wake up every morning to claim to be the president of Nigeria, absentee president. Buhari spent most time looking after himself and himself, not you. For 6-7 years, Buhari, a sick absentee president, created a lacuna. That lacuna in government created the cabal. The cabal in the government, backed by CPC part of APC. It's a long story. That is where Femi Oponu Adesina came to prominence. And that is also where Garbage Shehu came into prominence. If Femi Oponu Adesina is not telling you how fatherly, how lovely Buhari is to him, especially the day Buhari gave him an envelope that contained dollars. And if from that day he adopted Bokwari as his father, if he's not making statements like that, he will be making a statement of you Nigerians, which are completely divided, by the way, along the political, religious, ethnic, and all those biases that actually gives them this power they enjoy. If Femi Okonu Adesina is not calling you ungrateful elements, it will either be condemning you for not being thankful enough. He is a court jester, a praise singer, and he is the deputy to somebody called Garbage Shehu. So they created something called presidency in the absence of your Bokwari, the lifeless breathing mannequin. Presidency. Whenever you say anything, the presidency will respond. Whenever they feel like you are feeling like, you are feeling more Nigerian somehow, like, my right, all right. Presidency will speak. Bokwari doesn't talk. Presidency talks. Because presidency somehow is the presidency contains the jester, Garbage Shehu, and Femi Okonu Adesina. So the latest one is that as they are winding up, hopefully if they are indeed winding up, said, if there is any wish he has, it will be for Nigerians to elect a president like Bokwari. A wish that I actually want to touch on. But the exact parts I want to start from will be the drama many of you saw in Lagos. I think it was yesterday, talking about the out-of-school children. And every time I kind of, talk about every time I talk about the unfair arrangement called Nigeria, the unjust system that actually encourages this poverty at the highest never seen before scale in that country. And normally everybody should be concerned. And when you talk about poverty, Nigeria, poverty capital of the world, it's convenient for some of us from the southern Nigeria to quickly just brush it aside, because we could easily give an example of a poor north. Living in denial is the second nature of many, many of us in southern Nigeria. Just like when I spoke about the insecurity, and I spoke about the unfair system that we call the Bambi Allah system that limited and stunt our growth, how it's affecting us and the rest of that. And some of you feel like, well, it's not that bad. Well, out of school children, when they mention Almajiri, sometimes it's a convenient word, or it's sort of a slave word by most of us from southern Nigeria that actually symbolizes, the abject poverty of northern Nigeria. Almajiri system, out of school children. But in southern Nigeria, we are suffering greatly the same fate. Our children who are supposed to be in school, they are either out there trading. And many, many of us who actually survived that because we grew up that way. I have to go and when I was 10, I had to go and do some trading for my mom, go and hawking and all of that stuff. When you did have choice. But one thing, there are millions of children in southern Nigeria, in Yoruba land to start with. There are over 2 million children in Yoruba land who are supposed to be in school, but they are not. And they have no chance or choice of going to that school, simply because a system that doesn't even have a reliable data. Reliable data that will say, these children, this is the number of children we have in each state, and these are their ages, and also these are those who are supposed to be in school. Are they in school? No, they don't. So Lagos State Governor, now that election is coming, you are going to begin to see a lot of stunts like this, right? When we talk about poverty, it covers everyone. When we talk about out-of-school children, it covers everyone. Some are just easy to, some accept it easily, even though they do nothing, while others are living in denial. You have seen this video.
Is it Hausa? But I've not been to come Lagos.
Oh, you just came to Lagos? From where? From which state? Kano. Father Lord Almighty. How old are you?
12.
12. How old are you? 9. So where you go? You're going to grind pepper?
Yes.
For your parents there?
Yes.
Where do they stay?
Anthony.
Eh? Anthony.
Yes.
How can I get to your parents now? Do you know their number? What are we doing? Why they are not allowing you to go? You are 9, you are 12, okay?
That's just a glimpse. Many people have praised by the governor for giving them scholarship. And others have condemned the governor. So if you ask me, Maiyegun, what are you going to do? I will say, well, I'm going to condemn the governor. And it's not just him. Because you heard the children, they recently moved to Lagos. I decided to use that video to give you the picture of how degenerated the system is and has become, and how worse it's going to be, because you see those children like that, they are everywhere in Nigeria. But I will use Southwest Nigeria, Yoruba land, as comparative, what have you now, okay? When we talk about out-of-school children, and then we talk about the consequences of that. First, let's talk about the situation that usually lead to children, that people giving birth to children that they can't take care of. And at the same time, the system which encourages it, right, is unable to actually have a plan for them or care for them. And at the end of the day, the system that created them, the system that abandoned them, that system will have to deal with the consequences of that singular act. And it's been like that generation from generation to generation. In 2015, APC, Egbekegbe, among many promises they made, poverty in Nigeria will make, when you fall into poverty, there is between 50% and 100% chance that if you have family, your children are going to end up in other people's homes, as you know what I'm talking about. Or if anything happens and then you become so poor that you can't really care for them anymore, because we have that, your children will end up on the streets. Now, talking about the poverty created by the political class year in, year out, encouraged, by the way, or supported or validated by the same people who always fall into that victim of a poverty. Now, your children, the parents are poor. They have family, they have children. The children ended up in the care of other people. In the case of Northern Nigeria, what they usually do is this. Once you have kids and you can barely feed yourself, you can hand that kid over to a cleric. So in Northern Nigeria, they now have that system called Almajiri system. It was meant to be a good system, according to them. A system that allows a guardian of either orphans, children from homes, who probably from poor homes and all of that, being trained in Quranic studies and possibly being sent to school, the proper school, while at the same time they serve that cleric. That's the Almajiri worldview. So as the Northern Nigeria, as the people fall further into poverty, more children end up in the hands of all these Islamic clerics in Northern Nigeria. Now, the jihad that they brought to Nigeria, how could they be useful? What could they use them for? But before that, some of these guardians too, they don't really have real money to take care of these children. What do? they turn them into servants. The worst case, children are sent onto the streets by the same clerics that are supposed to be their guardians. They are sent to the streets to go and beg for alms. So whatever they bring back is what they are going to feed from. So children as young as 3 years old, 5 years old are being pushed on that street by those guardians. Now that is where the government should have come in. If you actually have government, I'll tell you why they didn't and why they won't. Excuse me. And I'll tell you about the consequences. And I'll come down to the southwest Nigeria. Why many of these things that many of you know are already happening in there, within and around you, but you're probably just living in denial of it. And it is not just the Hausa children you are finding on the street of Lagos. There are more, but I'll get to that. They couldn't care for the children. The government doesn't care either. In fact, the government doesn't even know how many numbers of children are in care of different clerics all over the northern Nigeria. Religion, they were protected. Immunity from investigation or supervision. Most of these children, right, among other abuses, they are subjected to hardship. Many of them are sexually assaulted. Terrible one, psychological one. Then as things get bad, from bad to worse, these children became the recruiting market, the recruiting gap for those who wanted to perpetuate criminality, including terrorism, the neglect of government there. And that went on for years until the terrorists in Nigeria were able to raise enough army, most of them children. So democracy came. Nobody cared for them. Nobody could account for them. And there's also migration. You see, when people were running away, when the crisis now started, some people who couldn't give their children to clerics to care for, they migrated down south. Not because the government in down south had any plan for anyone, not even for their own people there. So everything coupled, the Alimajiri system of over 13 million in northern Nigeria started spilling. While yours that were brewing in southern Nigeria continue to grow to the pandemic level that you have it now. And some of you should not deny this. Now, when we were growing up, you will see a lot of children in traffic begging in southern Nigeria. Up to this moment, I am yet to see any part of Nigeria where the